What's up, guys? It is Saturday. It is the World Series of Pro Mods. They have over 80 cars, 80 Pro Mods on the grounds. A huge turnout, which is awesome to see. They are coming off of Radial versus the World from last weekend at South Georgia. So basically, everybody that was over there running Radial versus World had to change their whole setup because they had to go straight here to go to Bradenton to kick off this last race of the Winter Series that West Buck put on. It's been awesome to see. I've surely enjoyed every single race, and then they threw lights out in the middle of it, so it kept us busy, and I'm appreciative of that. So, Ken Cartuccio, what do you say about him? He's been in the final of the first Winter Series, which was the Snowbird Nationals against Kai Kelly. He lost to Kai, but he was in the final. Second race, the U.S. Street Nationals, he wins. Lights out, Radial versus World, which I know is not part of the Winter Series, but still, he wins it. And then he gets in his car. He goes back into the car that he ran the first two races in because he was in a different car this past weekend, same owner. But he goes and runs. He's right here at World Series of Pro Mods. He comes in as the points leader. Ken needs to lose first round. We know that to let Kai make any kind of move on the points. So I got who's going to run who. We're going to look at it right now. All right, got to get close here. So, Melanie Salemi versus Keith Haney. Mark Mickey, number one qualifier with a 357 against Kai Kelly. That is the marquee matchup. I can't wait to see it. Spencer Hyde versus Ken Cartuccio, which is going to be a good one too. Jay Cox versus Jason Harris, another good one. Isaiah Rojas versus Kurt Steeding. Jeff Rudolph versus Sidney Frigo. Let's see, Steve King versus Cam Hensley. Raymond Matos versus Scott Taylor, who had all kinds of issues. He went off in the strawberry field, got it back together, then he hurt the motor, but he made it. He's in. Victor Alvarez, what a story. This is his first time in his Pro Mod. He just made burnouts in it this past week at his track. He's the half owner of Bradenton. He comes in and knocks it out of the park and is in, and I've been so excited to watch him against John Rica. Ty Tutterow versus Joel Winsley. Mike Bowman, Street Outlaws, No Prep King. But before all that, he's the very first winner of the World Series of Pro Mod. So against Lyle Barnett, Johnny Camp versus Ryan Hayward, Tim Dutton versus Erica Enders, Amber Franklin Denton made it. I'm so proud of her. She's Tommy Franklin's daughter. She didn't make it last time, but she's made it in versus Billy Banica, Stan Shelton versus Stevie Fast Jackson, and Tommy Franklin, Amber's daddy, versus Alex Laughlin. So this is how we do it here. In case you're new, we're going to run through the first few rounds, do a couple highlights. I got to kind of keep them short because I'll get copyrighted. So I'm going to show you some highlights from the first round. I'm going to show you who beat who, and then when we get to the semis and the finals, we'll do all those. But before I show the list of who beat who, I don't want to spoil it, so I want to show the highlight of Kai, of course, against Mark Mickey, and Ken Cartuccio versus, I forgot who the hell he has. Who the hell did he have? Oh, Spencer Hyde.
They're gone. Mickey's going to have to make it up in the back half, and at the finish line, it's Mickey. He goes 361.0 at 218 miles an hour. They're going to make a race out of it. All the way down to the stripe, it's Cartuccio. 58 beats a 60.
All right, there you go. Ken Cartuccio is still in it to win it. If he wins second round, he seals the deal. If he does not win second round, Melanie Salemi, Mark Mickey, and Kurt Steeding are still in the running. All right, here we go. Melanie Salemi over Keith Haney. Mark Mickey over Kai Kelly, which we saw. Ken Cartuccio over Spencer Hyde. Jason Partytime Harris goes 359. Jay Cox wins. Kurt Steeding over Isaiah Rojas. Sidney Frigo went red. Rudolph takes the win. Steve King over Cam Hensley. Scott Taylor over Raymond Matos. John Rica over Victor. I hate to see that. Man, I know Victor was a little late on the tree, and I know he's going to kick himself, but I know in the same sense he's so happy about he got in the show and he got to race, and just all cool story. Ty Tutterow over Joel Winsley. Lyle Barnett went red, which was shocking to see. Mike Bowman, that would have been a heck of a race too. Ryan Hayward versus Johnny Camp, over Erica Enders with a hole shot over Tim Dutton. Amber Franklin over Denton, over Billy Banneker on a hole shot. Billy Banneker, something happened to him. He was real late. Let's see. And Stevie Fast Jackson over Stan Shelton. Tommy Franklin, Amber's daddy, over Alex Laughlin. I got the matchups for second round, and I don't think I mentioned that this is a chip draw. It's a chip draw after every round, so it really didn't matter where you qualified, except for the number one because they got a bonus. But anyway, Mark Mickey versus Scott Taylor, Jeff Rudolph versus Steve King, Kurt Steeding versus Tommy Franklin, Ty Tutterow versus Stevie Fast, Ken Cartuccio, that's the one to watch, versus John Rica, Ryan Hayward versus Erica Enders, Mike Bowman versus Amber Franklin Denton, Melanie Salemi versus Jason Partytime Harris. Before I show who beat who, we're watching King Cartuccio. I don't want to ruin it. I want to show his run. If he wins the points championship.
Oh my God, they left together.
It's going to be the same result, and it's Cartuccio, 61-6, their champion.
Congrats to King Cartuccio, the champ of the Winter Series. So Scott Taylor takes out Mark Mickey. Scott Taylor did a heck of a wheelie, but drove it out, got the win. Mark Mickey shook. Steve King over Jeff Rudolph. Tommy Franklin and Kurt Steeding. Kurt Steeding had lane choice. He swapped lanes. That's his right. They swapped lanes because of the first two pair that went down, and it bit him. I ain't going to say it bit him, but he shook in that lane that he swapped Tommy Franklin for. Franklin goes 368. Stevie Fast Jackson over Ty Tutterow. Ken, of course, we saw that over John Rica. Erica Enders over Ryan Hayward. Mike Bowman over Amber Franklin Denton. And then Jason Partytime Harris over Salemi. And you see that was a very tight race, and he got her on the tree. We got third round matchups. Mike Bowman versus Tommy Franklin. Ken Cartuccio versus Jason Partytime Harris. Stevie Fast Jackson versus Scott Taylor. And Erica Enders versus Steve King. Mike Bowman takes out Tommy Franklin. Jason Partytime Harris takes out Ken Cartuccio, and it was a heck of a race as you see what they ran, so he had him on the tree. Let's see. Stevie Fast really didn't take out Scott Taylor. Scott Taylor's car broke off the line. As soon as he took off, something happened to it. They had to end up pushing him back. And then Steve King takes out Erica Enders when she got squirrely, kind of got out of the groove, got a little squirrely, and couldn't ever make up the ground on it. Semis. Jason Harris versus Steve King, and Stevie Fast Jackson versus Mike Bowman.
There it is.
Look at it. Steve King's 40 green. He's going to run away from him. Harris had a mechanical problem.
So doesn't want to have to sit there, build that boost, go in, sitting there, building heat in that transmission torque converter while waiting for the other car. And so this is really the strategy of a savvy driver like Stevie.
And you talk about a guy like Bowman who has been doing this for decades. He is likely sitting in there as comfortable and as calm as he can be. These cars can't idle for a decent amount of time. I would argue that the screw-blown car is at a disadvantage in an idling situation like this.
Yeah, just because of the amount of fuel it consumes.
There he goes.
The Stevie moving in.
Bowman's car a little wiggle. Stevie Fast is right there with him. The finish line stripe. It is going to be Stevie Fast Jackson. 363.2 and 065 reaction time.
I know y'all just watched the runs, but just in case something happens and I have to take it out. Steve King 363 over something happened to Jason Harris's car, and then you saw there was a pretty good long staging battle up there between Stevie Fast Jackson and Mike Bowman. Stevie Fast gets him 363 to 367. On to the final, Stevie Fast Jackson versus Steve King.
Taking their time staging. We've seen this a couple times so far in eliminations. This is what it's all about. Here we go. Steve King's in.
They leave clean. Jackson was 29. Finish line stripe. It is Steve King. Top end look.
Congrats to Steve King, 362 to Stevie's 365. Looked like Stevie got his blower, looked like right at the finish line. I got a couple more things, hang around, but congrats to Steve King. A couple things I just want to talk about. The Pro 10-5 class, Blake Denton was driving Bonnie, Lizzie's car. They bought it. His father-in-law is Tommy Franklin. Tommy Franklin and Pat are best friends. They're leaving the car just like Lizzie had it. He did a heck of a job today. He had a wheelie all the way down the track beside Lyle Barnett. I'm going to show it just at the end of this. It was awesome. Lizzie was riding on that car. I won't nobody else say that she wasn't. That was cool. the next round he did have problems. He didn't win, but the ended up being Ethan Steeding, which is Kurt Steeding's son. He beat Chris Tootin. So that was a son of somebody in the Pro Mod class, so that was cool to see. And then in the top dragster class, the craziest thing I ever seen, both cars broke in the final. And it was Haley Hawkins versus Lucas Salemi, which is Melanie Salemi's son, another Pro Mod driver over there in the finals. He blowed his up. It wasn't no coming back from that. But Haley's car, all they had to do was take the tree under power. Well, they couldn't get it to crank. Well, they figured out it was some kind of fuse, some kind of wire. I don't know. They took the top of it off, switched some wires, got it cranked, and she took the tree. She goes for the win. So that was crazy. Another class I want to talk about is Little Gangsters. That's Jimmy Dale's class. He's got a huge following. Their index is 530. You don't get a time on the scoreboard, and you don't get a time slip. So it is so fun to watch. They had Cooper Bogetti. He's a big YouTuber. They had Kevin Smith, KSR. That was our driver in Le Mullets, who, I was really pulling for him. I love Jimmy Dale, too. Jimmy Dale was in the class in his 50 Shades of Brown car, who he runnered up in Lights Out last weekend at the Limited Street deal. It was fun to watch. It ended up being Jimmy Dale winning, and it was fun. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching, liking, subscribing. I'll be live this coming weekend in the NHRA Top Fuel Pit, Clay Milligan, Gator Nationals. Come see me. Come say hey. Leave me a comment on this video because you know I love them, and I will see you guys this weekend.
Look at that. Oh, into the stripe.